Panning is crucial. If you watch a lot of these beat tutorials, a lot of these guys just don't know how to pan. I don't know what it is. Or maybe they just don't think panning matters. I have no idea. But I'll show you how I pan these instruments, and these instruments are panned. I'll show you right here in my mixer. If you look over here, things are panned. There's a lot of panning going on. And by panning, a lot of it's drums, and I have the brass and all these different pieces all over the place. So I'll try to solo these out for you and see if you can hear in the mix, if you put headphones on, what exactly is going on. So first thing I have 2 open hats, which are left and right. They're very far in the background. I liked it that way. That's just the way I wanted to mix, so you can hear them. Cool. And then what I did is I took a closed hat, kind of a very simple, just a straightforward hi-hat that's operating on your left-hand side. Now listen to this. It kind of spaces out though, but you'll understand in a second. Now if you notice, there's drops where the hi-hat doesn't really, like, it just disappears. And what I did is I added a hi-hat on the right-hand side. Well, kind of right-hand side. It's panned to the right. And that has the really fast, like, sweeping hi-hats. Now listen to it again. So you have one slow one on the left and a fast one on the right. Okay, you see what I mean? It kind of gives it a little bit of flavor, and not everything's crammed down the middle. And the last little piece I threw on these drums is I have like an under snare that's like a complement to like some of the kick drums that I use. It's just kind of like a little fill snare, and then I have an actual snare roll. Now, just to throw the listener off, the under snare is panned to the right, and the snare roll is panned to the left. So you can never really get a grasp on where it's coming from. So here we go. Okay, so that's that. Now if you play the kick snares, and let's throw in the ride. The ride I panned a little bit to the left, or a little bit to the right. Just personal preference. So here we go. Now everything sounds pretty flush. I'm not gonna lie. My next fruitful tip of the day is going to be drum like a drummer. And what I mean by that is, I hear too many people on Soundclick and Soundcloud and YouTube and Music Centro and all these retarded sites, all these people taking the hi-hats and just going over and over again. That's like you're taking me to Wendy's every Saturday, and I'm probably going to pimp slap you across the face because I don't roll like that. The whole point of it is you want to keep it changing. So a quick solution to this is when you're doing things, just a simple thing like your hi-hat, and you want to change it up, make your hi-hat repeat, instead of every 4 bars, make it repeat maybe every 8 bars or every 16 bars. So that way people aren't really expecting, what's going to happen. I know that if all your hi-hats have been it's probably not going to change throughout the song, and I'm probably going to turn it off after about 30 seconds. Drums. When it comes to drums, silence is your best friend, because when you have a big buildup and you want that hard chorus to come, you have to take away all these instruments to make it sound extra hard when it comes to the chorus. So if you have your 808 thumping the whole time through the whole song, you're like, oh yeah, I'm going ham, dog. But in reality, it's just going to sound like trash, because after like 30 straight seconds of someone listening to that, they're going to be like, okay, wow, you can hit an 808. Awesome. I'm turning this off now because it sounds like crap. But if you kind of melt it down and take away the 808 and then slam it back on their face, that's what makes it sound crazy. And that brings me back to where I was in the first point, the element of surprise. If you listen to that I Woke Up in a New Bugatti song, you listen to the intro of that song, it sounds just like the intro of my song, where it's real quiet, And you're just kind of like, what the fuck's about to happen? And then as soon as he's like, I woke up in a new Bugatti, and the whole fucking song just goes completely apeshit. 808s are ripping your face off. It takes like 5 to 10 seconds for me to even figure out what the fuck just happened to my face, because it's fucking 3 miles back there somewhere. Now that's cool, and that's why people like that song. I'm sure it's some great melody. It's a fact that it just hits you in the face so goddamn hard. That's what the cool part of the song is. You have to take the same aspect, take all these things and learn from them. Learn from what you hear and why people like that song. Or not just that song, but any song like that. Learn, look at what they're doing that people like and what you like in the song, and then translate that back into your music. My next point is always use high quality drum samples. And I mean, like I said, you can't make a piece of crap and shine it and turn it into a piece of gold. This is not going to happen. You have to have decent drum samples to start with, unless you're really good at mixing to the point where you can make them sound big and full. And speaking of that, I have a drum kit for sale called Producer Power Tools HipHop, and it's geared towards hip hop, trap, and anything hip hop related. And there's like 75 snares, 75 kicks, 75 hats, 75 claps, all kinds of crap in there. $24.99 on my website, chuckdieselproductions.com, if you want to buy them. They're all custom sounds, and actually all these sounds are inside of my kit. To my last and final point, which is the mix as a whole. Now, when you have a mix and you're like, oh, this sounds perfect, this is ready to go on for the mastering process. I'm not talking about mastering. It should not be peaking at all. You should not be in the red. You should probably be anywhere between -4 and -6 dBVU on your master out. And the reason for that is so you can make it sparkle and shine in the mastering process, which will be covered in a later video. Another main point about your mix as a whole is you want your mix as a whole to be mostly drums. It is called a beat. So you want to have your drums be the dominant things in the beat. You don't want to have, if you listen to all these big producers, their actual instruments are cranked way back into their mixes. Their drums are cranked way in the front, and they always sound the best. Their drums sound the best. That's why everyone likes them the best, because they have the hottest drums. Another point is to always reference your songs or your beats in multiple sources. Don't just be like, oh, it sounds freaking banging in my speakers, let's just call it a day. Listen to it in your speakers, listen to it in your headphones, listen to it on your iPod, listen to it in your car, all those different places. If you find something wrong, like I've probably burnt down, no joke, 15, 16 versions of this, and listened to all 15, 16 of them, and thought to myself, which one is, which one's the best, and which one can I fix to make it sound the best? And I mean sonic quality. So on some of them, I said, oh, my kick, my 808 wasn't loud enough. It didn't sound like it was thumping enough. So I went through and edited my kick in my bus. So I didn't throw off everything. Everything sounded good. Now, if I have 5 synthesizers here and one of them sounded a little off, I can go through and either edit it individually or edit it as a group. Maybe all my synthesizers sound a little off. So I go in there and I just maybe play with the EQ on my synthesizer bus. Another thing you want to do is test these at quiet and loud volumes. So if you got this thing cranked inside of your house and you're like, yeah, it sounds awesome, and then when you turn it down, it just sounds like a big freaking pile of dog shit. You're just like, all right, you know what I mean? Time to go back to the drawing board. But in reality, you should have mixed with the volume going up and down. Turn the volume down on your headphone amp, turn it back up on your headphone amp. Don't just have the thing cranked or don't have the thing too low. You want to keep adjusting it. You don't want to let yourself get used to it. Don't fuck with the master channel. And what I mean by that is don't go on and start putting all kinds of stupid EQs and stuff on your master channel, because you're going to go to master it and you've already kind of semi-mastered it by fucking with your output channel. Just leave your output channel alone until you're done with it. Don't go through and put some wretched ass EQ on your output channel or some compression, and then when you go to master it, you're like, how come when I compress it, it sounds like complete trash? Well, the answer to that is that you already compressed it. And chances are you probably didn't know what the fuck you're doing when you were compressing it the first time or EQing it the first time. Best thing to do, don't have anything on your output channel except for maybe a meter. Now, people ask, how can I easily get my mix to an acceptable level without it peaking? And how I go about that is you normally take your kick drum. I start with my kick because the kick is the most dominant thing in a hip-hop genre. And what you do, you take your kick and your 808 and you set it to maybe like 10 dBVU on your meter. So you know that's the loudest instrument. And then you mix everything around that. So you know that the kick is the loudest thing. Then add the snare. Then add the hi-hats. And blah, 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 all the way through all your synthesizers and everything. And get that mix to where the drums are dominant. And then from there, you can kind of maybe up-notch a couple things or down-notch a couple other things. That's the best way to do it. And normally give yourself enough room. So if something is way louder than the kick or blah, 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 then you can compensate for that. I hope you had some nice tips that I just, smeagoled off to you here. And if you want to download this beat, you can go ahead and download it or release the untagged high-quality version for $19.99. Or you can pick up my drum kit, Producer Power Tools, at chuckdieselproductions.com for $24.99. And I hope you all have a good day and make some goddamn bangers, damn it.